Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be ranking SpongeBob Season 2 episodes because I'm bored and I have absolutely nothing to do. I'm going to turn that down a little bit so I can hear myself talk. Anyway, so let's get going. So, yes, we're going to be ranking the episodes all the way from Your Shoes Untied to Squid on Strike. So, I did this before with Season 1. We're going to do it again. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. So let me just, explain how this works. So basically, I am ranking it on these categories: how funny it is, how interesting the episode is, in the beginning, middle, and end of the episode. And I'm gonna give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for like funny, interesting, beginning, middle, and end. And then I add all those numbers up, which make the total score, which, for example, could be 18. So there you go. So I don't know what to say here. I guess let's go or something. So, for number 39 in last place, pre-hibernation week with a total of 15 points. Now, this one might be an unpopular opinion. A lot of people like this episode, but in here, Sandy is about to hibernate, and she wants to do all these extreme activities with SpongeBob before she hibernates, and SpongeBob just can't do it anymore. I really don't think that there were too many really funny jokes. There were a few okay ones, like, I can explain, like that guy right there on the screen. That was not that bad, so. Next one, 38, dumped, with a total of 16 points. Now, this one, basically, Gary dumped SpongeBob, kinda, and went with Patrick, and SpongeBob was jealous. He wanted his pet back, so he kept getting a bunch of random pets and stuff and trying to get Gary back. And it was all because Gary wanted to be with Patrick, all because Patrick had a cookie in his pocket. And honestly, this one, it was kind of sad to see, this happen. I didn't really like that. And there weren't that many great jokes in this one, so this one wasn't that great. So next up, we have 37, the Fry Cook games with a total of 16 points. Now, in this one, basically, SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs, and Plankton and Patrick are competing to be the best, I don't know, Fry Cook, I don't know, it's like a bunch of sporting events. I don't really know. And they do like a wrestling and a bunch of competitions and weird things. And there was a few pretty good jokes in this one. I enjoyed it, but definitely was not one of my favorites. It wasn't that bad. So number 36, we have Big Pink Loser with a total of 16 points. This is another unpopular opinion, but I kind of felt like, I don't know about this episode. There were some pretty popular jokes, a lot of pretty good jokes as well, like, is this the Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick! That was pretty funny, but, personally, there were better ones, in my opinion. So, yeah, basically in this episode, Patrick wants to win an award like SpongeBob, so Patrick tries to be exactly like SpongeBob, which gets on SpongeBob's nerve, and it's a mess, so. Number 35, I'm Your Biggest Fanatic, with a total of 16 points. Now, this one, SpongeBob meets, I think, a sea cucumber guy named Kevin. He's a famous jellyfisher with the jelly spotters, and Kevin wants to embarrass SpongeBob and, get him out of the jelly spotters. And he doesn't want SpongeBob to join the jelly spotters. And so he tries to get SpongeBob to get like stung or whatever, but it all backfires and Kevin looks like the loser. And it's, some funny things like the wah, wah, wah. I don't know, thought that was funny. But it was overall not that bad, so, yeah. So, number 34, Gary takes a bath at a total of 16 points. Now, in this one, I guess the title is self-explanatory. SpongeBob wants to get Gary to take a bath, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a cat, but I think cats don't really like to take baths, and in SpongeBob's world, snails are cats. So I don't know. I think that's funny. I guess there weren't that many too great jokes. You got the two gold doubloons, don't drop them, and trying to get the messages in Gary's mind with this crazy lady. That was a bit funny. I enjoyed that. So, all right, next one, number 33. We have procrastination with a total of 16 points. Now, there were, some cool things in this episode. I mean, I think there was like two or three, I'm pretty sure, deleted scenes in this episode. And I watched it on Paramount Plus, and all of the deleted scenes were back, and they were in the episode, which was really cool. And I was glad to see it with, Patrick rubbing Sandy's back, and SpongeBob with his nose, and I think there was like a car crash. I think all those were taken out. But basically, in this episode, SpongeBob does not want to write an essay about what not to do at a stoplight, and but at the end, he figures it all out. He goes all crazy. He um, what do you call that? Hallucinates, I think. And he finished it, and it turns out that Mrs. Puff canceled the project, and SpongeBob fell apart. So that was that was a pretty good episode. So for number 32, we have Jellyfish Hunter with a total of 16 points. Now in this episode, Mr. SpongeBob puts jellyfish jelly on a Krabby Patty. Everyone loves it. I think Fred or Frank, whatever, I forget his name. Um, he sang a whole song about it. Mr. Krabs loved it, and Mr. Krabs wanted SpongeBob to get all the jellyfish. There was like animal torture going on, and he tried to get a bunch of jelly from the jellyfish, which was not great. And at the end, it was a good ending, and the jellyfish all got released. There was a few funny jokes, I mean, that quickly popped up, and there's a song. And I rewatched the song, I think yesterday, and I heard Mr. Krabs say something like, SpongeBob, are you listening to Squidward's records again? After he sang the song. And I forgot about that, but it was a pretty good episode. Now, for number 31, Sandy, SpongeBob, and the Worm, with a total of 16 points. Now, this episode was, I thought it was a bit boring, but actually, sometimes if I really think about it, there were some good jokes. And I was about to say bathroom because this guy he was like with his hook screeching on the window or something. He was like, I need to use the bathroom or something. I don't know. That was funny. And there was a problem with the worm. There was like a worm, and he was eating everything, and the town didn't know what to do. And SpongeBob and Sandy were trying to get the worm wrangled up. And Mr. Krabs, when he was suggesting ideas, I think he said, I know. Let's all buy Krabby Patties. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if I remember that correctly, but everyone threw, ketchup and mustard at him. That was kind of funny. But for number 30, we have Welcome to the Chum Bucket with a total of 17 points. And yeah, this one basically, Mr. Krabs lost a bet, and Plankton took SpongeBob, and it all didn't really work out. And there's a whole song like, "If fries should be fries either way." That's what the picture is. I don't know. It was odd, but it was not that bad. There were some odd moments in it. So yeah. So for number 29, with the first episode of the season, your shoes untied with a total of 17 points. Basically, SpongeBob forgets how to tie his shoes because Patrick doesn't know, and SpongeBob tries to do it, and he's like, wait a minute, I don't know either. And it's a whole problem. No one knows how to tie their shoes in Bikini Bottom, besides Gary, the snail, and they sing a song at the end, which is pretty nice. And one funny moment of this is right at the beginning when SpongeBob's watching TV. It's like, dun, 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 and SpongeBob's getting really into it, and Gary's like, meow, and he's like, Gary! I was just looking for that sports channel, Gary. That was definitely a very funny part, and who knows what SpongeBob was watching. And I don't really want to know. So anyway, number 28, Grandma's Kisses with a total of 17 points. Basically, SpongeBob gets kisses from his grandma and lots of love from his grandma, and everyone at the Krusty Krab makes fun of him for it. And SpongeBob doesn't want to be made fun of for it. So Patrick helps him. They do some freeform jazz. All of Patrick's great ideas pop up on the screen with the Speedos or something, and Patrick putting a pumpkin in a funnel in SpongeBob's mouth. And then they put on some sideburns, go to Grandma's house, and Patrick decides that he wants to be, get love from SpongeBob's grandma, and SpongeBob gets all mad because he turns out he really wants some love too. So, which is nice, and you should get love from your grandma no matter how old you are, I guess. So, I guess a good message. So then, number 27, Squidville, which I actually think this is the episode that comes after Grandma's Kisses. Now that I think about it, which is a bit funny. So, a total of 17 points. Alright, so this one basically, Squidward gets tired of living next to SpongeBob and Patrick, as we all know. And so Squidward finds out about Tentacle Acres, I think. And which is a retreat for a bunch of squids to, just be squids or something. And his life is just really repetitive doing the things he loves. And it turns out he actually kind of likes, SpongeBob and Patrick bothering him a little bit. And he needs some excitement in his life, which is kind of nice. And some funny jokes in here was how Squidward was watching the TV and about Tentacle Acres or whatever. And Patrick was like, "Oh, I hate this channel," as you can see right here. So then moving on. Number 26, Squid's Day Off with a total of 17 points. Now this one, Squidward I think he was put in charge of SpongeBob while Mr. Krabs went to the hospital, I think. And Squidward just wanted to take the day off, so he made SpongeBob wear two hats and do all the jobs. And Squidward was nervous, and he went home, to not be at work. And he went back and forth to the Krusty Krab and home because he was worried SpongeBob was going to do something bad. And then SpongeBob keeps saying, "Are you finished with those errands? Are you finished with those errands?" And I think in this picture, now that I think about it, Squidward said, "I don't like your tone." And then SpongeBob repeated the same thing in a different tone, like, I don't know, not tone. I don't know. I thought that was funny. Not bad episode. I kind of liked it. So number 25, Squirrel Jokes, with a total of 17 points. Now, I thought this episode was funnier before I watched it, and I kind of don't really like how SpongeBob, I don't know. I don't like how when he's trying to be funny, he's just funny on his own. But there still were some pretty good jokes in here, and I kind of liked it. So, not bad. Basically, SpongeBob is on a comedy, I don't know, comedy show? I don't really know. And people think it's funny when he makes fun of Sandy. Sandy's annoyed. SpongeBob keeps making fun of Sandy. But right at the end, SpongeBob is like, "You know what? Let's make fun of everybody." And then it all makes it all better, which is good. So, yeah. Number 24, The Secret Box, with a total of 18 points. So basically, Patrick has a secret box that SpongeBob can't see. SpongeBob tries everything he can to see it. He even breaks into Patrick's rock at night, and Patrick couldn't believe it, but he was like, "You can see what's inside." And it was just a string, but as SpongeBob walked away, when you pull the secret string, it opens up the secret compartment, which reveals the embarrassing snapshot at SpongeBob at the Christmas party, which I really want to know what that is. I'm very curious, but anyway, it was a good episode. I think that's really it. That's all there is to say. So, number 23, Krusty Love, with a total of 18 points. Now, Krusty Love, Mr. Krabs falls in love with Mrs. Puff, and they go on a dinner date, but Mr. Krabs spends a ton of money. So, he puts SpongeBob in charge of his wallet and makes sure that SpongeBob doesn't spend a lot of money. So then Mr. Krabs walks to Mrs. Puff's house to go on a walk in the park, but he keeps jumping from, "Oh, you need to buy this for Mrs. Puff," and then he's like, "You're spending all me money." And then he gets all mad, and then, goes back and forth. And then SpongeBob cannot do it anymore with the different sides of Mr. Krabs, with loving money and loving Mrs. Puff. And SpongeBob just goes all crazy. And we're not talking about this or this. We're talking about this. Like, hold up, let me show you. We're talking about this. That's what we're talking about. Anyway, yep. Moving on. Number 22, I'm with Stupid with a total of 18 points. A lot of people don't like this episode, I think. I don't know why, but I enjoyed it. It was a good one. Basically, Patrick is um, nervously going around his house cleaning for his parents to come, and his parents eventually do come, and Patrick thinks that his parents think he's stupid. So SpongeBob's like, hey, what if I act really stupid at your house so they think Patrick is so smart? And then Patrick just goes all out making fun of SpongeBob. And SpongeBob doesn't really like it anymore. So then SpongeBob tries to, be smart again. He can't take it anymore. But it turns out that those weren't really Patrick's parents, and his real parents were at Squidward's door, knocking on the door. And then the the fake dad was like, "Oh, that's right, honey. We don't have a son." Oh yeah, that was kind of funny. That was a good episode. I enjoyed it. So then number 21, Life of Crime with a total of 18 points. Now basically, oh, I thought this was a different episode. Sorry, I was thinking about season 3 or something. Anyway, so this one, Patrick and SpongeBob, they steal a balloon. And then the balloon pops. They were going to bring it back. So then they don't know what to do. So they run away from Bikini Bottom. They argue about, a candy bar. And then they're like, I'm going to turn you in. And then they go to the police station. They go in jail for like about 2 seconds. Only to find out that it was free balloon day. And I mean, they could have stolen as many balloons as they wanted on free balloon day. So, yeah, that was kind of funny. That was a good episode. I enjoyed it. And I think that's it, right? Yeah. Anyway, number 20, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3, right? Yeah, 3. Total of 18 points. So now this one, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy were going on like vacation or something, and they had to take care of the Mermalayer, and they found the what's his name, Man Ray, frozen in I think tartar sauce or mayonnaise or something, and Patrick unfroze him, and SpongeBob and Patrick were trying to teach the Man Ray to be good, and so when they were doing good deeds, like someone dropped their wallet, but Patrick was being a ding dong and not letting Man Ray be nice. So because of that, Man Ray gets all mad, and SpongeBob presses the button for his tickle belt, which tickles him and he falls on the ground. But then things get out of hand, and he escapes his belt, and he goes to rob a bank, but the lasting effects of the tickle belt go when he's robbing the bank, and he's like, give me all your money, and then he starts falling on the floor laughing because of the effects of the tickle belt or whatever. I don't know, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Like, is this your wallet? And that's not my wallet. That too? I don't know. It was a good one. Anyway, number 19, Squid on Strike with a total of 18 points. Now this one, Mr. Krabs fine. I wouldn't say fines. What would yeah, I would say fines, I guess. I don't know, for like breathing and tying your shoes and stupid stuff. And so Squidward gets all mad and he wants to go on strike with SpongeBob. And SpongeBob doesn't know how to go on strike, and he's sad because he wants to work at the Krusty Krab and he likes the Krusty Krab. And we got the picket signs with Krusty Krab Funfair instead of unfair. SpongeBob does the complete opposite of what he's supposed to do. And then, Squidward's on strike with SpongeBob. And then he goes to bed. He's like, I can't be on strike with SpongeBob forever. And then Squidward doesn't want to be on strike anymore at that point. Then Mr. Krabs comes to Squidward's house. And then they make a deal for Squidward not to be on strike anymore because of the crazy teenagers working at the Krusty Krab. But SpongeBob doesn't realize that deal happened, so he dismantles the Krusty Krab, which was a bad thing. And honestly, this was a really good one. I enjoyed it. So number 18, we have Patty Hype with a total of 18 points. Now this one, the business at the Krusty Krab is not that great, so SpongeBob wants to invent an idea to make it good, which is Pretty Patties. But Squidward and Mr. Krabs thinks that's a stupid idea, so SpongeBob kind of sets up his own little lemonade stand, kind of, with pretty patties. And it turns out that they're a success. So Mr. Krabs is like, I'll take over your little standy boy, or something like that. And then it turns out as soon as Mr. Krabs runs the stand, everyone turns into the color of the pretty patty they ate. So Mr. Krabs gets mauled by a crowd of pretty patty people. And SpongeBob, in return for the stand, he gets a Krusty Krab. So, well, as you can see, there's the crowd right here. There's SpongeBob. He's squeaking the pickles. So that's pretty funny. Anyway, number 17, no free rides with a total of 18 points. Now, basically, this one, Mrs. Puff gives SpongeBob extra credit to just get rid of him, and with the extra credit, he gets his license. And then Mrs. Puff envisions him, going all crazy and stuff. And SpongeBob, like driving, going all crazy driving. And Mrs. Puff finds out that SpongeBob's parents gets him a boat, so Mrs. Puff steals the boat so SpongeBob can't drive it. And little does she know, SpongeBob's in the boat sleeping, and then she goes through all these obstacles like giant clams, and then cheese graters, and then this one was funny. It was like, oh no, educational television. I thought that was really funny, but in the end, actually, I kind of forget what happens in the end. Oh no, I forgot. All right, let's just continue. Anyway, number 16, Frankendoodle with a total of 19 points. Now this one, SpongeBob and Patrick get a magical pencil, which they can draw anything they want. So they draw some things to pull pranks on people, and then like money and like a fake Squidward, and then they draw fake SpongeBob, which tackles everyone. Okay, that is a bit of an understatement. He wants to pretty much kill SpongeBob. I don't know why I said tackle everyone. I think I just looked at the picture. But anyway, and Patrick says, "Is it his birthday? Happy birthday!" Which it took me a minute to realize this. Like, it was a funny joke. Haha, it's not his birthday. But if you really think about it, it is actually his birthday. He was born on that episode. That is a bit weird. Patrick was right all along. But basically, what happens is SpongeBob finds out when he puts Frankendoodle on paper, he just turns into a cute little drawing. So that was the end of the episode. No one got harmed, I guess. So number 15, we got Bubble Buddy with a total of 19 points. And whoops. So basically, SpongeBob's friends are all gone and out of town. So SpongeBob wants to make a friend. So he blows up a bubble, and it's named Bubble Buddy. And now Bubble Buddy he's just a bubble, but I mean, everyone doesn't like him for some reason. So, and he pays Mr. Krabs with bubble money when he goes to Krusty Krab with SpongeBob, and he go to Goo Lagoon. He messes everything up there, and everyone doesn't like Bubble Buddy, wants to pop him, but it turns out Bubble Buddy could talk all along. Strange episode, very strange. Anyway, number 14, Imitation Crabs with a total of 19 points. Now this one, Plankton dresses up as a Mr. Krabs robot to get the formula, and he wants SpongeBob to discuss the formula, and so they do all these crazy things like say the Bikini Bottom national anthem, the ravioli, meatball, spaghetti underneath, ravioli, Great Barrier Reef, and just stupid things like that going in a cannon and things like that. But until and the real Mr. Krabs runs away because he found the penny. But then when he gets the penny, he comes back. There's two Mr. Krabs. SpongeBob gets rid of the actual Mr. Krabs because he failed his little test. And it turns out that the Mr. Krabs SpongeBob chose was Plankton. This is all very confusing. I'm not good at explaining this one, but yeah, anyway. And then another funny one was when Mr. Krabs and Plankton were like, Crabs, Plankton, Crabs, Plankton. And then SpongeBob came and was like, SpongeBob. I thought that was funny as well. Pretty good episode. I like that one. Anyway, number 13, we have Pressure with a total of 19 points. Basically, all the SpongeBob characters and Sandy, um, they were talking about who's better, aquatic people or aquatic creatures, land creatures. So they do a series of tests and stuff, and all the aquatic creatures go up on the land, and Sandy tries to breathe underwater, and they all fail, and there's like seagulls attacking them. Pretty good episode, and it's kind of cool to see all the characters doing things all at once. You don't really see that often, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, number 12, Artist Unknown, with a total of 20 points. This one I really like. We got Bold and Brash right there. Anyway, Squidward opens an art school, but the only person attending it is SpongeBob. SpongeBob is amazing at art school, but and he makes it a beautiful sculpture. And then Squidward just wants to be all arrogant and be like, "Oh, that is horrible, SpongeBob." So he kicks SpongeBob out, and then some art critic sees all Squidward's work and says, "Bold and brash, more like belongs in the trash," and just makes fun of all his work. But once he sees SpongeBob's beautiful sculpture, he's like, "Oh, this is good." And then Squidward's like, "Oh, I need to get SpongeBob back. I need to get SpongeBob back." I think there's a video. Anyway, so he gets SpongeBob back, and then SpongeBob's like, "You're right, Squidward. I'm just a terrible artist." And then when he tries to do all the things, when Squidward tries to tell SpongeBob to do the things he was doing before, SpongeBob does all the things Squidward told him to do, and it all just doesn't work out because Squidward is a bad artist. And when Squidward gets all mad and stuff, he breaks everything. Suddenly, he makes a sculpture somehow, and it's beautiful. So, strange episode, a lot of funny jokes. I like that one a lot. So number 11, the Smoking Peanut, with a total of 20 points. So this one, basically, SpongeBob throws a peanut at a clam, and then it disrupts the clam. Everyone is trying to find who threw that peanut, and it was SpongeBob, and he's like, "Oh no, they're gonna throw me in jail or something." But then the police actually catch Patrick doing it, and they didn't. And SpongeBob was like, "Huh? They're not on to me. They're on to Patrick." And then SpongeBob was like, "Wait a minute, I did it." And so they put SpongeBob in the middle, and they was like, "Hey, let's throw peanuts at both of him." I remember that. And then it turns out that it wasn't even SpongeBob and Patrick. It was actually Mr. Krabs who stole the clam's pearl. Wow, Mr. Krabs, that is just really selfish of you. Anyway, number 10, Bossy Boots, with a total of 20 points. Now, in this one, Miss Pearl takes control of the Krusty Krab, turning it into the Cuddly Crab. And Squidward doesn't like it at first, and then SpongeBob loves it. But then when he finds out that there's no Krabby Patties, he doesn't like it. And it turns out Mr. Krabs doesn't like it either because it's a lot of money spent. And so Mr. Krabs wants SpongeBob to fire Pearl, but it turns out when SpongeBob does that, Pearl's like, "I don't want to do this anymore because I just want to be with my friends." So everyone just hates all of this Cuddly Crab stuff. So it all works out and everything goes back to normal. Some funny parts were like, oh yeah, when SpongeBob had the ideas with the mustaches, everyone wearing mustaches, and oh, what was it? The Coup Crab, the Killer Crab, and all the ideas for the Krusty Krab. It was pretty funny. So, next, number 9, Graveyard Shift, with a total of 20 points. This one's a pretty cool take on it, making it all spooky and scary, and Squidward basically wanted to scare SpongeBob about the hash-slinging slasher, because the Krusty Krab was open 24 hours, and it was all dark and scary, and it turns out Squidward's made-up story about the hash-slinging slasher was real, oh yeah, the lights were flickering, all the noises were happening, the phone rang and no one answered, and the bus came at night, and when they had a spatula for a hand, and it was all true until they found out it was just some guy applying for a job, and he got nervous over the phone. I still don't know what happened with the bus, and the lights were flickering because of Norse Feractu, or whatever his name is. But pretty funny episode trying to scare SpongeBob, and I like that one. It was good. So for number 8, we have Christmas Who with a total of 21 points. And I think this is the first episode featuring Patchy the Pirate, but basically and actually I think it's the first ever special too. So basically, it's a Christmas episode, and hold up, I'm trying to think. I don't know why it's taking me so long. Oh yeah, so Sandy tells SpongeBob about Christmas. Then SpongeBob tells everyone at the Krusty Krab about Christmas. Then everybody at Bikini Bottom knows about Christmas. So then they send wish lists in a bottle up to the surface of the ocean to see, who see if Santa will make their wishes come true. But Squidward doesn't believe in Santa. They stand outside all night, and then all the Bikini Bottom people don't believe in Santa. And then SpongeBob still believes, but then as time goes on, he starts to not believe. And then Squidward makes fun of everyone for not believing. And Squidward feels like a jerk because SpongeBob made him a gift. And so, after that, Squidward dressed up as Santa Claus, gave everything in his house away, like all to give everyone presents, and he makes everyone's Christmas the best. And then later on, once he has literally nothing in his house, we actually see Santa Claus, and he tells Squidward thank you for doing his job. And Squidward was, a good person. So, yeah, that was it. That was a pretty good episode. Alright, next, 7, Dying for Pie with a total of 21 points. Oh, that's kind of cool. It moves. Anyway, basically, uh, everyone at the Krusty Krab was supposed to give gifts to, their coworkers, and, SpongeBob made a sweater for Squidward. Squidward had to make something for SpongeBob. And so what did he make? He didn't make anything. He actually took a pie from a ship in the back, and it turns out it was a bomb. And he gave it to SpongeBob, and SpongeBob, I guess, ate it. But then Squidward was like, oh no, he's gonna blow up at sunset. So Squidward wants to do everything SpongeBob wants to do before sunset, which includes show everyone in town, Squidward, and then show everyone in town Squidward in a salmon suit, as you can see here, and just do a bunch of random things. Anyway, then when it was sunset, Squidward was nervous he was going to blow up, but it turns out he didn't eat the pie, and SpongeBob was like, oh, let's eat it right now, and then he tripped, and the pie went in Squidward's face, and he blew up. Great ending to a great episode there. So number 6, Sailor Mouth, with a total of 21 points. Now, basically, in this one, SpongeBob and Patrick learn swear words from the dumpster, so then they start swearing all the time. And then Mr. Krabs tells them not to swear, but then when they were like, oh, let's not swear anymore, Patrick, they accidentally swore again, and then they were going to tell on each other to Mr. Krabs that they swore. So Mr. Krabs made them, I think, I don't know, go out in front of the Krusty Krab and do something. Then Mr. Krabs hurt himself, and he started saying all the bad words. So then they were going to tell Mr. Krabs on his mom, and then his mom told them to all paint her house. But then, yeah, I don't think that was it. It was pretty cool. I think there is an actual audio recording where you actually hear them swearing somewhere, which is kind of funny. So, well, of course, we don't actually hear that in the episode. I mean, it's a kid's show, so yeah. Anyway, number 5, Survival of the Idiots, with a total of 21 points. Now, this one, SpongeBob and Patrick are stuck in Sandy's tree dome during her hibernation, and they're cold because it's all snowing and stuff, and they just have fun in the snow. So then they use Sandy's fur to keep themselves warm, and they play around with Sandy while she's sleeping, like, I'm Dirty Dan, well, I'm Dirty Dan, I'm Dirty Dan, and like, Pinhead Larry, which one of you fellers is Dirty Dan? I don't know, it was funny. And then there was, well, that's not disturbing. This is disturbing. I'm Pat Back or whatever. This one right here. So there was a lot of funny jokes in this one, and SpongeBob and Patrick just bothered Sandy the whole time. So then number 4, Band Geeks with a total of 21 points. And yeah, maybe an unpopular opinion. This is not number 1 or like up there totally. But this one was just alright. I think it's way too popular. It's good, it's just too popular. I like it. Basically, Squidward has to form up a band, teach them how to play instruments for the Bubble Bowl, but they don't know how to play instruments. Squidward fails at that, so then SpongeBob's like, you know what? Let's just do it. Pretend Squidward's a hero, and then they go out into the Bubble Bowl and they just kick butt and they just make a great song, and they're just amazing. And it's really funny. There's some pretty good jokes in there, like the owner of the white sedan left her lights on. And it was good. Some people play with big, meaty claws. What did you say, punk? Big, meaty claws. There's a lot of good jokes in that one. And I really did like it, but it was not the best in this season. So number 3, Something Smells with a total of 22 points. Basically, SpongeBob eats a sundae with a bunch of random disgusting things in there, and it makes his breath smell bad. But Patrick doesn't have a nose, so he doesn't know that he smells bad. And everyone just gets away from SpongeBob because he smells bad. And Patrick thinks he's ugly. But once Patrick eats the sundae, and then because he was hungry or something, SpongeBob smells his breath and he's like, "Oh, Patrick, you smell bad." And it turns out that SpongeBob found out that it was his breath that everyone didn't like. And there were also some pretty good jokes, like once there was an ugly barnacle, and that whole story. That was pretty good. And overall, I liked that episode. So then, for number 2, Wormy with a total of 22 points. Now, in this one, SpongeBob and Patrick, like the first 20 seconds of the episode, just hilarious jokes. Like, Patrick was whistling, and then SpongeBob was like, "Wow, Patrick, I didn't know you spoke bird." "No, SpongeBob, that's Italian." But then they found out in Sandy's tree dome that there was a little worm, and they loved that worm. They played with the worm, and there was a song that was like, "A friend is a friend to the end of the end, that's forever," and all that stuff. I'm terrible at singing, but um, then they found out the next day they came back to be with the worm, but he turned into a butterfly. They thought it was a big monster. And then everyone around town was going all crazy until Sandy came back, and because she's a squirrel and she knows about land creatures, she knew that was just a butterfly. And some funny moments right here was like, "Say money," when Squidward's taking a picture of Mr. Krabs. That was pretty funny, but overall, I really enjoyed that one. Oh boy, so here we go now. So the number 1 top best episode from season 2 is Shanghai with a total of 24 points. I don't even know where to start. This episode is completely awesome. I love it. I love it so much. Now, basically, in this episode, SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward go on the Flying Dutchman ship, and they have to do just chores and scaring people. But SpongeBob and Patrick fail at that, and Squidward just gets banished off of the ship. And then the Flying Dutchman can't do it anymore. So he gives them 3 wishes, and then SpongeBob and Patrick use the first 2, and to get to wish that they knew that earlier, and to get Squidward on the ship as well. And so the third wish, at the time, I think, when the episode aired, the viewer could call in and say how the episode should end. Who should get the final wish? SpongeBob supposedly won, and he wanted the Flying Dutchman to be a vegetarian, but they all turned into fruits. Anyway, let's talk about the funny jokes in here. We got the lee 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 lee, And when they were spinning around, they turned into like dancing ice skaters. And then Squidward was like, "When we be getting business cards?" I don't know, and a bunch more funny jokes. This episode was completely hilarious. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Is that it? Yeah, it is. So thank you for watching this video. Bye bye now. I'm tired.